My girlfriend lost a game of truth or dare and had to kiss a guy. Before our lips could even touch, Leo Vance shoved me aside and kissed her himself. Leo, stop. It's my fiancé's birthday, for God's sake, Chloe said, pretending to be angry as she tapped him lightly on the chest. Everyone stared at me, sprawled on the couch where he'd pushed me, too stunned to even breathe. Leo just grinned, completely unconcerned. Come on, man, don't get bent out of shape. We're all friends here. It was just a dare, Chloe chimed in, trying to smooth things over. It was just a game, Ethan. Don't be a poor sport. Everyone in the room expected me to fly off the handle. Instead, I just took off my engagement ring, walked over to her childhood friend, and gently slipped it onto his finger. Send me an invite to the wedding. You taste sweet, Chloe. What have you been eating? Leo's suggestive voice filled the private room at the bar. Chloe, who had been looking at him with a playful pout, suddenly noticed the dead silence. Only then did her eyes land on me, still on the couch. She pushed away from Leo and, feigning anger, gave his chest a soft thump. Hey, it's Ethan's birthday today. Leo laughed it off. What? We're all adults here. He's not going to be that sensitive, is he? It was a dare. His words hung in the air, and no one dared to make a sound. This wasn't some harmless penalty like a flick on the forehead. It was a kiss. People were already cringing, bracing for the explosive argument that always happened whenever Leo was involved. But all I did was slowly remove the engagement ring from my finger. I walked over to Leo and slid it onto his hand. It was a surprisingly perfect fit. I smiled. Let me know when you set a date. The entire room, including Leo, was speechless. Ethan, it was just a game. Are you serious right now? Chloe's voice was cold. I know, I said with a light laugh. Just trying to help you guys have a little more fun. The color drained from Chloe's face. Leo put an arm around her, stroking her hair. Looky, my bit. I didn't think he'd be such a sore loser about it. He pulled the ring off and tossed it at me. Here, take it back. Don't be mad. It didn't mean anything. The ring hit me in the cheek before clattering to the floor. Everyone stared wide-eyed, but I just bent down and picked it up. Well, if you don't want it, I guess it's useless. And with that, I dropped it into the nearby trash can. Ethan, are you crazy? That was your engagement ring. Somebody get it out, quick. Where did it go? I can't find it in all this crap. A few of our friends scrambled to dig through the bin, which was already overflowing with watermelon rinds, banana peels, and even someone's vomit. It was impossible to find a small ring in that mess. Leo was stunned. He turned to Chloe. Chloe, why is he reacting like this? Did I really go too far? But you and I have always been like this. The next second, Chloe grabbed his hand and pulled him toward her. Everybody, stop looking. They all froze, huddled around the trash can, and looked at her. Her eyes were like ice, boring straight through me. If you can't handle the game, why did you play? Now you've made everyone miserable. Are you happy now? The accusation knocked the wind out of me. Leo kissed my fiancée, and by letting it go, I was the one ruining the night. The old me would have screamed, would have pointed the finger at Leo and torn him apart. But now, I couldn't summon the energy. Instead, I just turned around. In that case, I'll leave. You guys have fun. As the door to the room clicked shut behind me, I heard someone ask timidly, isn't it Ethan's birthday? Should we really let him leave like that? Chloe's voice was sharp with irritation. Just leave him alone. He needs to get over that temper of his. It's about time someone taught him a lesson. Anyway, Leo was just hired as a lecturer at my university. He can blow out the candles. The room quickly filled with noise again. The chorus of Happy Birthday, Ethan was replaced with Congratulations on the new job, Leo. Something cold and wet trickled down my cheek. I wiped it away. I hadn't even realized I was crying. But I didn't feel sad. I didn't feel anything at all. Growing up in a neighborhood of university faculty housing, I'd always looked up to Chloe, the brilliant girl next door. I was too awkward to fit in with her and Leo, so I just watched from my window as they chased each other around the lawns, a pang of envy in my chest. I studied like a madman, and the rare times our names appeared next to each other on the academic rankings were the highlights of my year. But I didn't have Leo's smooth-talking charm. To Chloe, I was just a polite stranger. That changed when we both got into the same top-tier university. Leo went off to a state school, where he got a girlfriend, and I finally worked up the courage to ask Chloe out. For once, luck was on my side. She said yes. From that day on, every decision I made revolved around her. When she decided to stay at our alma mater to teach, I turned down a prestigious research fellowship abroad. My advisor tried to change my mind, telling me about former students who were now earning six figures, who had endowed chairs, who had become tenured professors at a young age. I just told him quietly, all I want is a stable, quiet life with her. I gave her everything. All I asked for was her in return, but she never seemed to consider my feelings. Standing in the cold night air, I let out a long breath and called my old PhD advisor. Professor Miller, I was wondering, that project you mentioned before, are you still looking for people? He was silent for a second. Then his voice boomed over the phone. Ethan, you finally came to your senses. Of course we still need people. That project was made for you. Your junior, Maya, has been begging me to let her on, but I held the spot. When are you thinking of coming over? I'll pick you up from the airport myself. I smiled. Give me 2 weeks, Professor. I just have to tie up a few things here first. Even though I wasn't leaving immediately, I dove into the details of the project. Ireland was on a different time zone, so by the time I hung up, it was already getting dark there. Here, it was the dead of night. My head was spinning. I drew a hot bath and sank into it, feeling the tension seep out of my muscles. A wave of exhaustion washed over me, and with soft music playing, I drifted off to sleep. I was jolted awake by the sound of the front door opening. Ethan, it was Chloe's voice. It moved from room to room, growing more impatient. Finally, the bathroom door was pushed open. Her voice was heavy. Ethan. Her gaze was accusatory. I had no idea what she was angry about. Was it because I wasn't waiting for her in the living room like I used to, ready to start a fight about her and Leo? You're back. Sorry, I must have fallen asleep. I didn't hear you. I held onto the edge of the tub and turned my head. Could you please get out? My tone was polite but distant. She frowned. She pinched the bridge of her nose, looking exhausted. The reason I'm so late is because Leo got wasted. His ex has been harassing him again, and I didn't. I know. You were playing the part of his girlfriend for him. She froze. I offered a small smile. You're not mad. I laughed. What's there to be mad about? You guys grew up together. What's the big deal about pretending to be a couple to help him out? For a second, Chloe looked at me with utter disbelief. I waited, but she didn't move. Finally, I stood up and reached for a towel. We'd lived together long enough that there was nothing she hadn't seen, but for the first time, I felt a creeping self-consciousness. I wrapped the towel around my waist and turned to leave. She grabbed my wrist. Ethan, if you have something to say, just say it. I paused. What do you want me to say? She hesitated. You usually have a lot to say. I thought about it. It was true. In the past, every fight about Leo ended with me being the one who wouldn't let it go, who kept pushing and demanding. But I was starting to realize that you only lose control like that when your heart is full of love. Now I felt nothing, and I had nothing left to say. I gently pulled my arm from her grasp. Don't be dramatic. It's after 2 in the morning, and I have to run experiments tomorrow. I yawned. You should get some sleep, too. I'm going to bed. Good night. With that, I got into bed and closed my eyes. For a moment, there was silence from the doorway. Then, slam. The force of the door slamming shook me from the edge of sleep. It was Chloe. She'd stormed out. I knew why she was mad. For once, she had offered me an olive branch, and I had refused to take it. I slept surprisingly well. The next morning, I was yawning and about to order breakfast on my phone when I walked out and saw a birthday cake on the table. Chloe was sitting behind it. Happy belated birthday, Ethan. I stood there, frozen, the payment screen for my order still open on my phone. I know you were upset about last night, and we really couldn't find the ring. Her long, slender fingers pushed her phone across the table toward me. You picked out the last ring, but since I'm the one who lost it, let me get the new one, okay? Consider it my apology. Leo is just immature. You shouldn't take him so seriously. Kissing is a big deal to us, but he's always been reckless and casual. Wow, you got me a custom cake? Thank you. My sudden interruption cut her off completely. She stared at me, dumbfounded. Ethan, I leaned over the cake, reading the frosting. Wishing my love, happiness, and joy. That's a really sweet message. Thanks, I love it. She frowned. Ethan. I was already getting out plates and a knife. Hearing my name, I looked up. What? She looked down for a second. Nothing. My voice was bright with genuine pleasure. This bakery has the best cream cheese frosting in the city. I can never get an order in. You really went out of your way. She mumbled, her mind clearly elsewhere. Ethan, about the ring. Here, I said, cutting a smaller slice and placing it in front of her. You should be able to finish this piece. Don't let it go to waste. I then picked up the larger slice for myself and took a bite. Is this a new flavor? It's really good. Ethan, she was frowning now. Could you at least look at what I'm showing you? I glanced down. Her phone was open to the men's ring section on the Cartier website. My hand trembled slightly. I couldn't imagine how ecstatic I would have been if she had shown this to me just one day earlier. But now I just savored another bite of my favorite cake. No, thanks. It's all just marketing hype. Too much trouble. Ethan, Chloe looked at me as if I'd lost my mind. I smiled. Seriously, I don't care about that stuff anymore. Don't waste your money. Getting me this cake was more than enough. I finished my slice and put the empty plate on the table. I have a meeting this morning, so I have to head out early. Remember to put the plates in the dishwasher. I turned and went into the bedroom to change. Scrape, the sound of chair being pushed back. I turned my head. Chloe was grabbing her phone. Fine, I'll order one for Leo. He actually appreciates things like this. With that, she stormed out, slamming the door behind her. Her slice of cake was untouched. I didn't see her at the university for the next few days. That's gorgeous. The cut on that is the most intricate I've ever seen. And a girl bought it for you, Leo. A woman who buys you Cartier is a keeper, man. You should lock that down hot. When I walked into the faculty office, a group of colleagues was crowded around Leo, joking with him. I glanced over. On his finger was a classic Cartier love ring. Someone once said the design symbolized a love true until death. Haha, it's just a gift from a friend. Don't go spreading rumors. Leo laughed, but his eyes kept darting over to Chloe, who was sitting quietly at her desk. When he saw me, his eyes widened in mock surprise. Oh, hey, Dr. Hayes, what did you get here? Chloe didn't give me this ring, so please don't get the wrong idea. He had made eye contact with me the second I walked in. He then proceeded to pretend he hadn't seen me, raising his hand with the ring on it and laughing with everyone else. The birthday party incident was still fresh in everyone's minds, and all eyes immediately shifted to me. Chloe shot a quick glance in my direction. I walked over to Leo and took hold of the wrist of the hand, wearing the ring. It's nice. Your girlfriend has great taste. Leo froze. Chloe, who had been taking a sip of water, paused mid-drink. Our colleagues exchanged confused looks before someone broke the silence with a laugh. Dr. Hayes has high standards, you know. If he says it's nice, then it must be. Leo, this girlfriend of yours is a real catch. Someone tried to shush him, but he whispered back, What are you worried about? If Dr. Davis had bought it, Dr. Hayes would have blown a gasket by now. Leo must have a new girlfriend. Why else would he be so calm about it? A wave of realization washed over the group. When did you get a girlfriend, Leo? You kept that quiet. He's already wearing the ring. When's the wedding? Must be someone with money, right? That ring isn't cheap. Let me see it again. The design really is beautiful. Amidst the chorus of praise, Leo smirked and looked at me. I don't know how my girlfriend picked it. I just casually mentioned I liked it, and she bought it for me. I never expected. Take it off. The interruption was sharp and sudden. Leo looked taken aback. He turned to Chloe. Chloe. Chloe stood up, holding a lesson plan for her undergraduate class. I can't believe you're parading that tacky thing around every office. How embarrassing for you. Leo looked hurt. Chloe. She ignored him. Instead, she gave me a long, meaningful look. And Dr. Hayes, you might want to get your eyes checked. With that, she strode out of the room. I had no idea what I'd done to set her off this time. I complimented the ring she bought, so why was she upset? After my class, I got a text from Chloe. Let's get dinner tonight. It seemed she had finally figured out something was wrong. That was fine. I had a few things to say to her, too. Okay, I'll head over after I finish my experiment. I pushed to finish my lab work so I could meet her by 7. But when I was done, the lab door wouldn't open. It was locked. Normally, the lab doors weren't locked until after the 11 o'clock safety check. It wasn't even 7 yet. What was going on? My phone was in my locker outside. I had no way to call anyone. The lab was on the 8th floor, so jumping wasn't an option. Luckily, someone was walking by in the hall. I started banging on the door frantically. The soundproofing was good, and it took a massive effort to get their attention. When I saw who it was, my heart sank. It was my junior colleague, Maya Chun, the one who had desperately wanted the Ireland research spot that Professor Miller gave to me. She hadn't been my biggest fan lately. I mouthed my predicament to her through the small window. She just shook her head and walked away. My stomach dropped. Did Chloe know I was trapped in here? I had to get out. I looked around for something to break the lock, but every piece of equipment was worth a small fortune. I couldn't bring myself to damage anything. Defeated, I slumped against the door and sat on the floor. Click! The lock on the door behind me turned. I jumped to my feet. Maya was leaning against the doorframe, dangling a key. The professor with the master key, Dr. Vance, had already left. I had to go to another department and fill out a bunch of forms to get a spare. Took a while. You're not too traumatized, are you? I was stunned. Dr. Vance, as in Leo Vance. Maya twirled the key on her finger and scoffed. Who else? I paused. Thank you. I'm in a hurry right now, but I'll buy you dinner later. About the Ireland spot. If you're going to apologize, save it. She turned her back to me and waved a hand over her shoulder. I'll surpass you one day, senior. It was already 7:30 by the time I got out. I rushed to the restaurant, and in my haste, I tripped on the stairs and scraped my knee badly. A waiter helped me to the table we'd reserved, but a couple I didn't know was already sitting there. Excuse me, sir, are you sure you have a right table? This one was reserved by this couple some time ago. The waiter informed me. I stood there, confused. My phone buzzed with a notification. I opened it. It was a new post from Leo. Thanks for the epic birthday surprise, babe. I'm not mad anymore. The picture was of a massive, 5-tiered cake. Leo was front and center, surrounded by a dozen friends setting off party poppers, showering him with confetti. He had his arm around someone whose face was covered with a cat sticker. But I knew who it was. It was Chloe. I glanced at the date on my phone. Oh, right. It was Leo's birthday. Sir, would you like to reserve a table now? My knee was throbbing. I shook my head. No, thank you. Could you tell me where the nearest urgent care is? I didn't call Chloe. I had torn a nasty chunk of skin off my knee, and the waiting room was packed. By the time I was cleaned, stitched, and bandaged, it was late. It was after midnight when I got home. I opened the door to a pitch-black apartment and jumped when I saw a figure sitting in the living room. I flipped on the light, my heart still racing. Chloe, why are you sitting in the dark? She looked up. Her eyes were bloodshot. Ethan, it's almost 3 in the morning. Yeah, I had work late. She paused, then said, as if testing the waters, last night. I didn't make it to our dinner. I know. It's fine. I took off my jacket. You were mad at him. So, you obviously had to make it up to him. His birthday was the perfect opportunity. Wow. She grabbed my hand. She was still sitting, looking up at me. His party isn't over yet, you know. I didn't understand. I came home early. I blinked. Why? Her grip on my hand tightened. I was waiting for you to call me. I was stunned for a moment, then I pulled my hand away. She held on tight, making us struggle. It's fine. I trust you guys. As she watched me change my shoes and get ready for bed, her expression flickered. You're not angry. My voice was flat. No, Ethan, I don't know if it was my imagination, but her voice seemed to tremble. I cut her off. Chloe, can we talk about this tomorrow? Please? I gave her a tired smile. I'm exhausted. We can talk for as long as you want tomorrow. I went into the bedroom. She never came in, not even by the time I fell asleep. But this time, I didn't hear the front door slam. When I woke up the next morning, she was gone. She wasn't in her office, either. She had gone to supervise a lab session early. That afternoon, I started typing a text. Is Leo busy tonight? We should get dinner. I have something I need to tell you. Before I could hit send, the office door flew open. Ethan Hayes, where the hell did you hide my fountain pen? Leo grabbed the collar of my shirt with both hands, nearly yanking me out of my chair. My colleagues rushed over. Dr. Vance, calm down. His eyes were red-rimmed. I'm sorry, but that pen was a gift from my grandfather. It means everything to me. Dr. Hayes, if you wanted to look at it, that's fine, but please, just tell me where it is. Grandfather? Pen. I was completely lost. Leo's grandfather had been a renowned physicist, a giant in his field. Before he passed, he had given Leo a single fountain pen, hoping he would follow in his academic footsteps. I had immense respect for the man. Why would I steal his pen? I left it in the lab yesterday and forgot to grab it. You were the only one working in there at that time, Dr. Hayes. I promise I'll never speak to Chloe again if you just give me back what my grandfather left me. Leo dropped to his knees in front of me, his jaw clenched and his eyes burning with tears. Everyone's gaze fell on me. They all knew how often I fought with Chloe over Leo. Amidst his sobbing, someone said, "Dr. Davis, maybe you should say something." I looked up. Chloe was standing in the doorway. "Ethan, just give it back to him. If you like it that much, I'll buy you a new one." She held her phone out to me. "You know the password. Pick anything you want. It doesn't have to be a pen." I looked at her phone, then back at her and laughed. What is that supposed to mean? She avoided my eyes. "That pen is incredibly important to him. I'm not blaming you. I know I've put you through a lot lately. It's understandable you'd act out." A helpless smile touched my lips. "But you know me better than that, don't you? You know what kind of person I am." She didn't answer. Leo continued to sob quietly, shooting glances in my direction. Murmurs of sympathy started to fill the office. A man doesn't cry like that unless he's truly heartbroken. That pen was his grandfather's last gift. "Yeah, whoever took it should just give it back." "What are you crying about?" A new voice cut in. "You're the one who locked my senior in the lab, and now you're blaming him for taking your pen? You couldn't put it in your locker outside? You can't even keep track of your own things?" The untimely reprimand stopped Leo's tears cold. I turned around. Maya Chun was standing there, holding an iced Americano. My colleagues were confused. "Ms. Chun, what are you talking about?" A USB drive landed on the desk with a clatter. "Security footage. I had a friend in IT recover it. Let's see how Dr. Vance waited for Dr. Hayes to go into the lab before locking the door. Swat. The drive was snatched from the desk. Leo clutched it in his fist. "Maya, Ms. Chun, there's no need for this, is there?" Maya smirked. Scared. In a swift motion, she grabbed the USB drive back and plugged it into a computer. It contained nothing but old experiment data and lesson plans. There was no video. "You tricked me." Leo's eyes went wide. Maya's smile was cold. "Why would you be scared if you didn't do it?" "You." Leo turned desperately to Chloe. Chloe. But Chloe, who always took his side, was now frowning at him. Leo's breathing grew ragged. With a choked sound, he bolted from the room. Only then did my eyes meet hers. "Ethan." I smiled gently. "Don't say it. I get it. He's your childhood friend. It's hard to believe you would try to frame me. I don't blame you." She stared at me, speechless. "Let's have dinner tonight, Professor Davis." My smile was warm. "Do you have plans with Dr. Vance? If you do." "No," Chloe said, her voice firm. I was a little surprised. Then I smiled again. "Great. 7 o'clock tonight. I'll make a reservation." "Can we eat at home?" she asked, looking at me intently. It made no difference to me. "Sure. I'll pick up groceries." "No, I'll take care of it." I didn't argue. That evening, the moment I opened the door, an arm linked with mine. "Oh my goodness, look at you, Ethan. You've grown into such a handsome young man." "Honey, come look." I stared, dumbfounded, as Chloe's parents materialized in our living room. I shot a questioning look at Chloe. She came over and leaned into my arms. I thought it was time we told my parents. They were going to find out about our engagement sooner or later. As if on cue, her parents beamed at us. "So, when's the wedding? Do you want to have it back home, Ethan, or here? We could even do 2 ceremonies if you'd like." The words I planned to say were swept away by their overwhelming enthusiasm. I looked at Chloe. She was smiling warmly as she produced a red velvet ring box. Inside was another engagement ring from a different brand. It was a design I had always loved. She had one custom made for me. I instinctively pulled my hand behind my back. Her parents' smiles faltered. They looked from their daughter to me. What's wrong? Didn't you two discuss this?" The joy in their eyes faded, replaced by a look of pitiful confusion. I could be done with Chloe, but her family had been neighbors with mine for decades. Mr. and Mrs. Davis had always been kind to me, and after Chloe and I started dating, they had spoiled me rotten. The Patek Philippe watch sitting in my drawer was a gift from them. "No, it's not that. I haven't washed my hands. I just got out of the lab." "Oh, don't be silly. That doesn't matter." Mrs. Davis's face lit up again. She affectionately took my hand. Chloe's eyes curved into a smile as she took my hand from her mother's and gently slid the new ring on my finger. She was already wearing the matching women's band. 2 thick red envelopes were pressed in my hands. I smiled. "Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Davis." Her parents exchanged a meaningful look. Still calling us Mr. and Mrs. Davis? Isn't it time for a change? I smiled and lowered my head. Thank you, Mom and Dad. In that moment, I could have sworn I saw Chloe let out a quiet sigh of relief. Her father was ecstatic. I have to call your father. His boy has been stolen by my daughter. Oh, stop it. You're being ridiculous, his wife scolded, though her eyes were crinkling with laughter. The next day, Chloe and I drove her parents to the airport. As the plane took off, I spoke quietly. Chloe, I'm leaving too. She nodded. Back to campus? I'll drive you. I stepped aside, avoiding her touch. No, I'm leaving the country. I'm going to Ireland. Her hand froze in midair. Professor Miller has a project, and he needs me over there. It took her a moment to process. When did this happen? Why didn't T.I. know? I made the decision on my birthday. In that instant, I think she finally understood everything. Her fists clenched at her sides, and her voice trembled. Was it after you left the party? I gave a quiet Chloe's hands were shaking. She took a deep, shuddering breath. When are you coming back? 2 or 3 years, probably. 2 or 3 years. She repeated, her head bowed. That's not so long. I can wait for you. And if you like Ireland, maybe I could. Chloe, what I'm trying to say is, we're breaking up. The wind whipped my hair across my face, blurring my vision of her. Standing less than 3 feet apart, I could feel the tremor in her breath. But we just got engaged in front of my parents. I know. My smile was gentle. I took a key from my bag, took her hand, and placed it in her palm. This is for the apartment. When you get back, check under the shoe rack. I left the envelopes your parents gave me there. The engagement ring, too. Just because I'm not accepting them doesn't mean I blame you. It just means the part of our lives where we were a couple is over. I've taken what I can of my things from the apartment. You can throw the rest out or keep it, whatever you want. I'm not coming back. Goodbye, Chloe. I hope you make full professor soon. With that, I patted the back of her hand and walked away. I didn't go back to the apartment. I checked into a hotel for my last 3 days in the country and finished handing off my work at the university. During my final stop at the administration office to file paperwork, I learned something new. Chloe had also applied for the research project in Ireland. With her credentials, she was already on track for a professorship. She didn't need to go abroad to pad her resume. In fact, leaving for a few years might mean there wouldn't be a tenured spot open for her when she got back. Why was she doing this? Dr. Hayes. A folder appeared over my shoulder and was handed to the administrator. I turned. She offered me a small smile. Looks like we'll be colleagues abroad. I'll be counting on you. The young administrator looked from her to me, her eyes wide with romantic fantasy. Professor Davis is following Dr. Hayes overseas. That's so romantic. I'm afraid I won't be of much help to Professor Davis. My words cut through the girl's daydream. Chloe flinched. I maintained my polite demeanor. Our research fields are completely different. Once we're in Ireland, we should each stick to our own work. The administrator stared. Dr. Hayes, are you too? I smiled faintly. We broke up. The girl's jaw dropped. I looked at Chloe, but I still wish Professor Davis the best of luck with her research in Ireland. I turned to leave. A hand clamped down on my wrist. Her voice was strained, but I could hear the suppressed sob beneath it. You really don't care at all anymore, do you? I gently pried her hand off. Chloe, stop it. We're at the university. Her voice suddenly rose. Ethan, what happened to you? Where's the guy who used to be so possessive of me? I paused. In the past, I had wanted to attach a GPS tracker to her. If she was an hour late coming home, I'd grill her about where she'd been. She had lashed out at me more than once. I'm your girlfriend, not your property. Why do you have to control everything I do? You're just suspicious of me and Leo. If I wanted to be with him, do you really think you would have ever had a chance? I sighed, turned, and looked her straight in the eye. Chloe, you hated it when I controlled you. Now that I've stopped, what more do you want? For the first time, her eyes shimmered with tears. A figure burst into the room from the hallway. Chloe, you can't go to Ireland. Leo ran over, his eyes red, and threw his arms around Chloe. You can't go. What will I do if you leave? You promised you would never leave me alone. The young administrator stared at the unfolding drama, utterly aghast. Chloe, who was always so careful about her public image, was now standing in an office where anyone could walk in, her eyes filled with tears as she looked at me. "Ethan, do you want me to go or not?" How strange. The same woman who used to shout, "I make my own decisions. Can you just stop trying to control me?" was now asking for my advice. I was taken aback for a second, then I smiled. "That's your decision to make, Professor Davis. Go if you want to, don't if you don't. It depends on what you're looking for. Whatever you choose, I hope you can live with it." With that, I turned and walked away. After a few steps, a shout came from behind me. "Ethan Hayes!" I walked faster. The voices faded behind me. I heard Chloe's, sharp with annoyance. "Let go of me. You're so infuriating." Chloe didn't contact me before I left the country, but her Instagram, which she rarely updated, was suddenly active every day. One morning, it was a photo of us from graduation, captioned with how much she missed the old days. That afternoon, it was a close-up of our hands from the night her parents visited, our engagement rings prominent. Finally, she just posted a text story. "I miss you, Ethan Hayes." Unsurprisingly, the audience was set to only me. I swiped past it and left a comment on a post from Maya Chan about her latest experiment results. Impressive. And so it went until the day before my flight. A frantic call came through. "Dr. Hayes, you have to get to the hospital. Professor Davis was in a lab explosion. She's refusing all treatment and says she won't do anything until she sees you." I froze. Chloe was famously meticulous about her research. She once publicly reprimanded a student in a group chat for putting a graduated cylinder in the wrong rack. How could she have had such a major accident? What could have possibly distracted her so much? When I arrived, Chloe was blindfolded with bandages, her hands flailing in the air. "Where's Ethan? I need to see him. Don't touch me." Leo was beside her, tears streaming down his face. "Chloe, Ethan's not here. Please, let me take care of you. The doctor said the bright light damaged your eyes. You need treatment right now. Please, just stop asking for him. I'm begging you." The moment his hand touched her, she violently shoved it away. She gripped the side of the bed. "Get out! Get out! Ethan doesn't like seeing you near me. He'll get the wrong idea. You can't be here. Go. Chloe." Leo's voice was choked with sobs. "Chloe." I stood in the doorway and spoke her name calmly. In an instant, she went completely still. "Ethan." She swung her legs off the bed and nearly fell. Leo rushed to steady her, but she pushed him away. She followed the sound of my voice until her hands found my face. On the sterile gauze covering her eyes, two dark, wet patches instantly appeared. "It's you. You came to see me." She wrapped her arms around me, her body trembling in my embrace. "Don't go. Ethan, I was wrong. Please don't leave me." I didn't move. "The doctor said you shouldn't be crying." She immediately bit her lip and choked back her sobs, suddenly as obedient as a child. She clutched my hand tightly. I gently removed her hand from mine. "My flight leaves in an hour. You wanted to see me, and I came. Now, can you please let them treat you?" Her breathing hitched, and the wet spots on her bandages spread rapidly. A doctor hurried over. "What's going on here? You need to leave now. The patient cannot be crying." I was pushed back, the distance between us growing. But her voice grew louder, more frantic. "No, don't let him leave. You can't let him go, Ethan." I just watched silently. Leo tried to step in front of me to block my path, but she shoved him with all her might. He stumbled backward, lost his footing, and the back of his head cracked against a large ceramic planter. Blood began to pool on the floor. I turned and walked, step by step, toward the exit. The sky was a brilliant, cloudless blue. It was time for me to start my new journey. "Senior, if we don't hurry, we're going to miss our flight." The familiar voice made me pause. I turned. Maya Chan was standing there with her suitcase, raising an iced Americano in a silent toast. I smiled. "Fancy meeting you here." She lifted her chin haughtily. "I had to pull a lot of strings to get on this project with you. Come on, we don't have time to waste." Watching her march confidently toward the gate, I let out a soft laugh and followed her.